Alright guys, so now we are into my pink blushes, and kind of similarly to the peach one, I ended up swatching a few that might not necessarily be pink, just for comparison's sake. So the first one I have here is Sex Fantasy, which is this one right here, which is from the NARS palette. And then I have, what's this called? Miss Ingenuette, I think. Can't really read the handwriting on the back of that. This is from the Guy Bourdin palette from NARS. I bought it from someone kind of depotted. So I have that one right there. And then I have Deep Throat, also from the NARS palette, next to that. Here I have the Tarte blush from the Rainforest After Dark palette. I can't think of the name right now. Maybe it's Unleashed or something like that. And then this one is the ColourPop Prenup blush, which is a cream, which I am working on right now. Here I have this Cargo blush in Los Cabos. I got this from Birchbox, and that one looked a lot more coral orange to me. When I swatched it, I kind of forgot about it in the peach video, so I swatched Ginger Pop and Liberté right next to it to kind of compare it. So it's definitely more orange than Ginger Pop, and it's brighter and sparklier than Liberté. Here is Frat Boy. This is Easy and Cherry from the Gwen Stefani palette. This right here is Magic. Just turn on another light to maybe help. And then, yeah, this is Magic. Then I have three creams up here. I have Gerbera, Pie, and Candy from the Balm palette. So I think there's definitely a lot of variety here. These two are sort of similar, but I prefer this one, and this one's in a palette, of course. So you know what? Maybe I should declutter my NARS palette after all. This is Deep Throat, which I love, but I do also have a mini of Deep Throat. So if I got rid of my NARS palette, I would still have Deep Throat, which is one of my favorite blushes. But I just kind of like having the NARS blush palette because I like having Deep Throat. I like having Laguna. And, you know, even though I don't like this one as much, or this one right here, I do like the coral blush in there, Final Cut. So even though kind of each individual product in the NARS blush palette to me is kind of like meh, altogether I kind of want to keep it. So I tried to declutter it and sell it earlier this year, I think, and I didn't have any takers. And I just, you know, I have some sort of weird affinity for it, even though each time I swatch something, I'm kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. So ColourPop I love, but I am trying to pan. This Los Cabos one I can definitely live without. I don't think I've ever really worn it. It's very sparkly. I got it in Birchbox. I didn't pick it out myself, so I think that's going to go in the Declutter box, which isn't out right now, but I'll put it over there. Cherry and Easy. Easy is very unique, and I love it. It's so pretty. It's such a pretty rose color. And then Cherry right here is kind of just a bit sparklier than this NARS one over here that's matte, but it's in the palette. I do really like it, so I'm not gonna declutter that. And then I do like Magic too. It's a lot different. It's a lot brighter, kind of a darker pink. So, and then these three, I'm working on painting these two in my Pan That palette. And Gerbera, I also kind of have my eye on. I have hit pan on it. So I don't think this will make it past the end of the year because it'll be super expired by then. But yeah, so once again, not very exciting. I think I, have maybe decluttered all the blushes I'm gonna declutter. I guess the other one that's just kind of like I don't reach for a lot is Frat Boy. I just have the little one out right here, but I do have a big one. I got this in Birchbox. So all of these, I don't have a lot of blush singles that are pink. So it's hard for me to declutter things because I don't want to declutter my palettes necessarily. So that is kind of another thing that's throwing me off. So I mean, this is just a sample. I could declutter it, but I think it's kind of cute, so I might as well keep it for a while. This one I tried to pan last year. I only have a hole in it because I poked it to see how deep it went, and it goes very deep. But I did like to kind of set the cream blushes in here with this. So I don't really want to get rid of that. I'm not going to get rid of this palette. I'm not going to get rid of that palette. The one in here is kind of meh for me too. But I'm not panning this palette. I can't really get rid, I could throw it away I guess. But I'm trying to use up the bronzer. I might try to pan some of these eyeshadows later this year. So even though like this is a matte palette to me, it's something I like enough that I wouldn't mind panning it. It's not something that I hate like the Smashbox Blue Eyes palette or something like that. So, you know, I guess I've done pretty good in the past with my pink blushes. So as you could see on my arm, I feel like there was a very good variety, and the ones that were similar to other ones kind of live in palettes, so I'm kind of unable to declutter them because I prefer the ones that aren't in the palette, of course. And I could declutter the ones that are, like I could declutter this one and then just live with this one, but this is really a lot more cool toned than this one. If you look at this one, almost looks more of a lilac. I don't know if this is going to show, or kind of a lavender. It's a little bit more, looks like a light purplish, kind of, at least compared to the other ones in this palette. And then this one is kind of like that bright, kind of scary Barbie pink. But on my skin, I really like how it looks actually, so I don't want to get rid of it. And this one shows up more on my skin. This one barely shows up at all, so that's why I don't want to do that. So once again, only one of them went in the declutter box, but that is definitely better than none. So. Alright guys, so this is going to be my last stash swatching video for blushes. So this one's going to be kind of a free-for-all. It's just going to be all the ones I didn't swatch yet. So basically that's going to be nudes, plums, and reds. And, you know, some of them only have one in that category because I've already decluttered the rest. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so here is everything. I have a Tarte Exposed right here, and then the Balm Desert. These two are both kind of nude. You can see Exposed does pull more pink on me, and then Balm Desert does have a little bit more of a shimmer. Exposed is matte, but the Balm Desert one that I have is just a little mini baby, so I don't really feel the need to declutter it. I think it's kind of fun, and I might actually try to pan it at some point. So those are the most similar, I would say. This is Hush from the Gwen Stefani palette, which I also swatched in my peach blush video. Just thought I would compare it to these, and it definitely is unique compared to those. Then I have the Tarte Flushed stick. I think I actually decluttered this the last time I decluttered, but then when I was home for December, I don't remember, maybe I decluttered it in December, but I watched Thrift Thick's review, and I guess I always thought this was going to be kind of sticky, because when I've swatched it, it is, and she really liked it, and she didn't mention anything about it being sticky, so I ended up trying it, and I kind of fell in love with it, so I'm not going to get rid of that either. It is a deluxe thing that I got for free, so, you know, I could declutter this and this just for the heck of it to say that I did, but I actually like them, so I think that would mostly just be wasteful. The next one I have right here is Cobbler from the Balm, which you will know from my Pan That Palette videos. It's very pigmented. You have to use a very tiny amount, so it doesn't actually end up looking quite this red. Kind of blended out. It looks a little more pink, but definitely a lot darker than the pink blushes in that palette. This is Goulet from NARS, which in the pan looks kind of like a red shimmery blush, but on that arm it looks a little bit more pink, at least compared to this red. And then finally I have a plum blush, which is NARS Sin. So as you can see, these were kind of my free-for-alls, the ones that didn't fit in any other category, and so they all are very different from one another. Even these two red cream blushes, you know, come across very differently on the skin. So yeah, I'm not going to declutter any of these either. I guess I really have done a pretty good job of decluttering my blush and face products in the past, so this part of my swatching hasn't been quite as I guess it is interesting to see that I did do a good job compared to my lip products, where I still found a lot of dupes and a lot of things I could live without. So, you know, could I live without some of these blushes? Maybe, but I do really like them, and I find that there aren't a lot that are, you know, dupes or very similar. So as a makeup lover, I'm okay with having an excess number of blushes as long as I like them all and reach for them all. And, you know, kind of, again, the ones I reach for the least, well, not really in here, are in palettes. The this is a newer palette to me, so it's not really fair of me to say that, and I reach for these a lot, so that's not really true in this category. But in terms of all my blushes as a whole, I'm just kind of reflecting. This is the last blush video I am filming. The ones that I would declutter are kind of in palettes with other things, which I don't want to declutter, so I think, you know, I'm pretty happy with my blush collection at this point. I do really like blush, so yes, maybe I have more than the average person, but I think it's a good size. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!